Hey everyone, Revan here, and welcome back to episode 14 of StoneBlock 2, where today we're going to see about finishing this pack. Not 100% if we're going to finish it, but we should get pretty dang close. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. Man, I tell you, it is good to be back. I know it just may seem like it's only been a few days since the last video release, but in real life, well, let me tell you what happened. So, you see, what had happened was I got myself some laryngitis or something to that effect, and I couldn't talk pretty much for almost 2 weeks. I'm still kind of struggling a little bit with my voice, so there's probably going to be a lot more cuts in this video than there normal are due to coughing and, you know, slowly dying and all that other good stuff. So, but today our main focus is trying to finish up this pack, and realistically the only thing that we have left is our big spender quest here, which honestly I think we're done with, and then Thaumcraft. Now myself, I am nowhere near anything that one would consider a expert at Thaumcraft. Probably don't even fit into the beginner's realms, because although I've played a lot of packs that have Thaumcraft in it, I never really found the reason to do it. Like, you have a lot of mods, you have a lot of tech mods that will give you things like machines that you can automate and you can run stuff through it and you can make your life easier. Thaumcraft to me kind of falls in that same realm as something like Britannia, where although it has some neat little gadgets and stuff like that, they don't really improve, or at least in my opinion, they don't improve my quality of life enough for the grind that goes into them. So I tend to stay away from it. However, I have done like the basics of Thaumcraft before in other packs, because a lot of times, you know, a pack will make you do, you know, pretty much the basics of Thaumcraft, like, you know, get the workbench, you know, do some research, prove some theories, make a couple of these items like the niter and the gauntlet and stuff like that. But I've never really gotten into the what is it called? The infusion altar. Never really done any of that. So this is going to be as much of a learning experience for myself as it is going to be for you guys. But before we get into that, I do want to clean up a couple quests that we still have yet to do. So let me grab my staff of traveling here. I made a little room back here so that I could catch squid, and I caught... Oh. Hello, Mr. Creeper. I forgot I have night vision on. So I made this little room back here, which apparently is completely dark, but I can't tell, so... let's just, you know, torch. Yeah, that's good. All right. So I caught myself a squid and a pig. So let's see here. We have the squid. And where is the pig? There's the pig. Now, in order for us to complete this first tab here, we need to kill a zombie pigman and a gas. So I'm hoping that it's going to register here. So let's toss this guy in there. We have a zombie pigman. All right, that worked. Now let's grab our squid. All right, we've completed that chapter. All right, that's all that I really needed to do for that. We can toss these guys back in here, and we can go about our business. I did, in between episodes, make another steam turbine generator and a fusion reactor here. I will note that my flow rate seems to jump every which way. I'm not really 100% sure what's going on with that. These both of these reactors are running at 98. They both have the same type of water input. These guys are staying constantly full, but the reactor itself is acting kind of funny. So it's saying that, you know, the water is never filling up and the steam is just kind of staying where it's at. As far as the flow rate, that's kind of what's jumping all over the place here. So as you can see, it's showing that I'm only producing 72 million RF per tick. However, if I hover over this little guy down here, sometimes it'll say that I'm producing 146 million RF a tick. So I'm not I'm not really sure what's going on there. And if I come over here, it says that I'm intaking almost 300 million RF a tick. So the draconic ball or energy core is acting like each one of these turbines is producing almost 150 million RF a tick, but they themselves are saying they're only doing 76. So kind of just threw my hands up and said, I don't know, and kind of went on with it. However, it was enough for me to craft up balanced clay. So I have 6 stacks of it here, and I think I need about 6.5. So let's just grab some chaos shards. If I can grab the correct amount, I think we're gonna need about 32 of them. And then I keep forgetting what we actually need for balanced clay, 'cause it's been a while. Grains of infinity and infinity ingots. So grains, we'll grab a stack of that, and then let's grab a stack of the ingots. There we go. So we just break these guys up into 2 groups and toss them in, and then we can just start that off and let that finish. And hopefully by the time this episode is done, these guys are done crafting and we can actually finish our big spender, because each one of those balanced clay is worth 23 super high number. Not going to try to pronounce it because I'm going to get myself wrong. But yeah, it should get us to where we need to go. So I think in total, in order to get the, let's see, where is it? The Project E big spender. After I did the math, versus like how, I essentially took this number, divided it by the worth of a piece of balanced clay, and it comes out to about 400 balanced clay. So that should be around like 5.5 to 6.5 stacks. I don't really remember. Down here is where we're going to be doing our Thaumcraft. I did clear out, we had our little miniaturization field projectors up there, but we're just going to kind of use this for Thaumcraft. So what I want to get is, I want to get a drive. Let's see, we need some 64K storage devices. Let's see. Yeah, I think this one's it. 10, I think, is the number that it holds. We're going to need a terminal screen, one of the crafting ones. And I think that's going to be about it. So we're just going to come over here, pop this guy down, get annoyed that we broke an extra block. Let's just do this. Let's grab ourselves a point. Here we go. We have our flex point here. And we'll just put this on gear and disable limits. Then we can then take our controller, toss it on there. That should light up. We'll take our ME drive, piece of cable, and just a terminal that we'll place right there. And then we'll just fill this up with our drives. We obviously don't need that many, but it doesn't cost us anything to do. So yeah, can't complain about it too much. Let's just toss these guys back. And then what we're going to need to do is get some Viz crystals. So when you're pulling them out of the transmutation table, they show up as percentage. You can't search the ones individually. And it's kind of a little bit luck of the draw, or RNG, if you will, what you're going to get. So we'll just take a bunch of out and they'll kind of change to whatever they want to. And then we're just going to pop these guys inside this. So I'm just going to do this here and load up a bunch of Viz crystals real quick. All right. Well, we have a start to the Viz crystals. I'm not sure, to be completely honest, how many there are in total. I want to say it's probably somewhere around 37, but we obviously have more than 37 here. We have what? 9 times 4. No, actually that's 36, 37. Yeah. So that should be, I think, all of the Viz crystals, so that we should be able to pull from them anytime we want. Now, some of them we don't have a lot of, so we may have to, kind of luck of the draw, go through and try to pull some more. But maybe we can actually produce them through one of the energy condensers or something like that, but we'll see. So the first thing that it wants us to do for Thaumcraft is to make Salus Mundus. So this is 3 Viz crystals of a different type and combine them with redstone dust by crafting them with a flint. All right, so we have Salus Mundus. Now, we didn't need to do that because this has EMC and we could have just come over here and said Salus, but I'm going to kind of partially do this not as super cheaty. I'm going to be pretty cheaty about getting through the Thaumcraft, but, you know, as far as, you know, making the very basic stuff, I figure we can kind of walk through some of that. So the next thing it wants us to do is make a Thaumonomicon. So in order for that, we need a bookshelf. So let's just grab this guy right here. And I think we just place that down and hit that. All right. So we ended up just pulling a Thaumonomicon out of our EMC system tablet here, because normally to make this, you just have to put down a bookshelf and then hit it or right click it with some Salus Mundus, but it doesn't seem to want to be doing that right now. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. So like I said, you know, we are going to cheat quite a bit here, but I was trying to do that normal. Yeah. So normally you just toss down a bookshelf, you hit it with a little bit of Salus Mundus, and it turns into a Thaumonomicon. And that's even what it says that you need to do in the quest book. Use Salus Mundus on a bookshelf. So no clue what's going on there. But yeah. All right. So the next thing it wants us to do is to make an arcane workbench and a research table. So this should be the same thing. Just use Salus Mundus on a crafting table to get the workbench. And I think the research table is similar, except we're just hitting it with a scribing tool, I believe. So let's grab ourselves a workbench. And we don't have regular ones. All right. So if we toss you down. All right. So my inexperience with Thaumcraft is definitely showing here, because I can't seem to make anything that it's asking me to make with the Salus Mundus. So let's just grab a workbench here, and let's grab a scribe table or a research table. There we go. We'll toss you guys down, and then this guy needs some Viz crystals in it, so I'm not sure which ones it needs, to be honest. All right, so we have all of the Viz crystal in we need. So what it ends up taking is air, aqua, ordo, Perdicio, terra, and ignis. So I guess those are going to be the 6 main elements for Thaumcraft. I'm learning just as much as I'm doing this. Let's toss our useless Salus Mundus in there. So we've completed this, and now it wants us to make something called niter, which we actually do have in our crafting table here. Where is it? Yellow niter. There we go. And we're just going to toss this down here, and we'll throw that there, because we're going to end up putting our, is it called a cauldron or a crucible? I'm not 100% sure. So let's see. We need a caster's gauntlet. This guy does have EMC. I'm just wondering when we're going to get to the point that we actually need to start working here. We can grab out our caster's gauntlet. So we need blank advanced focus. We'll toss that up. We need oromancy. So it's a workbench charger. Allows you to use Viz from 9 chunks instead of just the chunk that the workbench is in. So let's take this guy over in here. And what do we need? This Viz battery. Let's grab. So we'll just grab all of these guys out here. So see, we need a blank advanced focus, right? So we'll just grab those. We'll grab a couple of these guys out. just in case we need them. Toss all of you in here because this is going to be our little Thaumcraftian area. Then we need a workbench charger. Just grab 6 of you, and I think we just toss that on there. You can go in here. What else? And the Viz battery. So we'll just grab you. There we go. So we've completed all those. I don't think it's going to be until we get in here where we're not just going to be able to pull stuff out. But we'll see there. Wireless, we need a filling Essentia transfuser. This is going to be for when we have to set up our smelters and stuff like that. Witch water, and then auxiliary port. So let's grab ourselves a bucket. And we'll just go like this, and yeah. I guess I can't put it back in there. Is this guy? I was gonna say it shouldn't be full. All right, so let's grab our, let's see, filling and auxiliary venting ports. Filling and venting ports. Toss you guys in there. So now we've completed this top section, this right-hand section, and now we need to get into these guys down below. So artificial intelligence is a clockwork mines are required for golems to function. Okay, so this is part of the Thaumcraft golemancy, or whatever it is that you want to call it. So you can make little guys to help you out. We don't really have any use for golems, so we're not gonna do that. Brain in a jar. Let's see, indentured servant. Golemonster's bell. So let's see, bell, clockwork mind, brain in a jar, and then we just need the control seal, which is going to be this guy right here. And I believe we can just toss all these in because I don't think we're actually going to need them at all. So that finished off this bottom. Now we get into the items that actually, you know, most people are going to end up using when they get into Thaumcraft. And those are going to be the lens of truth, or goggles of revealing, I should say. Let's toss you guys on there. Let's see, turret gun. Yeah, we're not going to use it. Blowing hot air. These are the bellows that are going to be used for our smelters and our arcane furnaces. Lamp of growth. So these are good if you actually, you know, have farms. So Thaumcraft does have, like I said, it does have some items in it that can be helpful for you. I just find that normally, you know, for the packs that I play, Thaumcraft really isn't all that needed. It's just kind of ends up being one of those extra things that you end up going through. So let's see, lamp of growth, goggles of revealing, if I can spell. These guys we actually will end up wearing, so that we can see how much of each what is it called? Each type of viz that we have. So advanced automated crossbow. So let's go here and grab you. And then we need the bellows. We'll just grab a stack since I have a feeling we're going to end up using those. Now for the goggles, we can just toss these guys up. That way, when we look at stuff that we've tossed viz into, we can see how much of whatever Essentia is in there. I think that's what it's called. Ultimately, we need to get to the Crimson Rights. But for now, that is what it is. So this is the part that I think we're actually going to have to start going through some of the Thaumcraft here. Because in order to get the altar to actually form, you need to do some research. So we need runic matrix. We'll toss that in there. Arcane stones. arcane pedestals. There we go. And I think that's all that we need to make that. So we'll grab the runic matrix, some of the arcane stones, and we'll grab some of the arcane pedestals. And we'll just toss you guys in here for now. Other than that, I think once we actually get into that, the only two things that we have to make, if I'm not mistaken, are going to be probably the pickaxe and the Crimson Rites book. So we should be able to pull out most of these guys. So let's just toss these on so that we know what it is that we're looking for here. Shovel, sword of the Zephyr, and the pickaxe. So let's see how many of these are going to be in here. So we have the Hoe of Growth. We can do that. Axe of the Stream. There's this guy. This is Shovel of the Earth Mover and Sword of the Zephyr. There we go. That one didn't register, so that might be one that we actually have to craft. And the Pickaxe of the Core. All right. So let's just toss these guys all up in here and see what didn't actually take. So yeah, okay, so I was wrong. It's not the pickaxe, it's the Sword of the Zephyr. So the two things that we actually need to craft in this pack are going to be the Crimson Rites book and the Sword of the Zephyr. However, before I can actually get the matrix to form, because let me show you here. In order to set this guy up, there is a particular layout that it needs to go in. And let's just try to pick a location that we want to do this in. I think what it needs to do is you put down a pedestal and not something on top of that pedestal. And then the runic matrix, I think the runic matrix is going to go on the top. But first we need to surround this guy with some of these arcane stone bricks, which is, I believe it's just 4 of the arcane stones like that. So kind of like regular stone bricks. And then we're going to just put the regular arcane stone on top. My mouse is doing its little thing where it wants to double place, which is always wonderful. There we go. And then the runic matrix, if I'm not mistaken, is just going to go right up there. Now, normally what we do is we'd come and grab some Salus Mundus and we'd, I think, smack this guy with it and it would kind of shift into its normal normal layout. Like these pieces will end up like curving in and this guy will start like kind of floating up on the top and it ends up looking pretty cool. But we can't do that until we've actually researched it in the Thaumanomicon itself. So what we need to do is we need to come over here and actually open up the guidebook. And unfortunately, everything seems to be locked. Like normally this would be unlocked here, but it's not. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Maybe because it's I didn't actually make it from a bookshelf. So let me do a little bit of monkeying around and I'll be right back. All right. So I think I kind of figured it out. So I was missing kind of in an important step that, you know, if you're playing around a Thaumcraft in a normal world, you're going to inevitably go through. And that was these guys right here. Let me just pull them out. So these crystals that I was getting from sifting, normally what you do in the world is you'll find these guys down in caves. And if you just come up to them and break them, that's how you're normally going to get your Viz crystals. So I had to pick this guy. I then had to wait for it to be night. Then I had to sleep in a bed. Then I needed to make the Salus Mundus. Then I needed to put down a bookshelf and hit it with it, which is when it changes over to here. And at that point in time, did the book actually open up. So we now can actually start progressing through it. So because I had everything, it kind of sort of let me kind of cheat my way through when I wasn't supposed to. So now let's try to kind of come back over here to our facility over here and let's see what the book wants us to do. We are going to have to kind of go through this a few different things. So who would have thought that a few sprinkles of dust could have created a marvelous book. It is mostly blank, but it hints at powerful new form of magic. Word that I'm not going to try to pronounce. Firstly, I need to study the magical world, blah, 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 normal crafting table. However, since magical energies I need to channel are quite delicate, a sprinkle of Salus Mundus on a mundane crafting table should solve that. The book has taught me the proper incantation, so it should be a simple matter to keep myself on track. I will make a list of requirements. So here it's asking us to make the mundane crafting table. So let's see if it actually allows us to do that. There we go. So we have our crafting table that we now have over here. And the book then, let's see, complete you. So now it's talking about observations. So this is how that you're going to kind of progress through Thaumcraft under normal circumstances. You need to make observations. You use those observations as a sort of fuel to conduct research, which we do on the scribing table. So I now have an arcane workbench at my disposal. It works much like a mundane crafting table and can be used as such. However, there are a few key differences. Many arcane recipes require the use of Viz crystals, which we've already stocked up on. And I've been finding lately, blah, 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 blah. Supposedly energy is all around me, but I can't perceive or measure it. It is time I craft the thermometer and use it to study the world around me. So, all right. So the thermometer is just going to be 4 gold and a glass pane. So, and we have our thermometer. Now with this, we can, I think it's just right click on it. As long as you're far enough away, nothing can be learned. All right. So if you shift and right click, that's when it works. And we can just kind of go through our base holding down the button and doing it. Now there is kind of a easy way to get all of this information. If we come over to, we'll just say over here for now. I think if we shift right click on our controller, it should take everything that we have in this system. And then we'll just do the same thing over here and over there. I wish you could do it with the with the actual ME drives, because that would be insane. See, if we hold it over here. All right, so it's only counting the drive once, but you can actually hover it over items that you have in your inventory as well. And that's how we're getting observations. Now there is another way to get observations as well. If we come over here, and I think it's, all right, so I think it's this guy right down here, amber bearing stone. So we can use cobblestone and amber. Let's add that up inside of a combiner. So let's see if we can't make that up real quick. We have our combiner. Now we want to grab some tier installers, if I can spell that correctly. We have, let's see, our basic, our advanced, our elite, and our ultimate. And for now, where do we want to put this guy? I think we'll just put this right here for now. And then we can kind of just start running through the tiers here and try to make this guy as fast as we possibly can. Oop. All right, so the ultimate tier doesn't want to work. It just wants to stop on elite. Not a big deal. All right, so we just about got this guy set up here. Had a little bit of issue. I ended up putting the cobblestone generator underneath and this crate in the back, which is going to be producing amber. So if we just put that in there, and then I think if we just feed this with a couple stacks of emerald blocks, we should get a decent amount of amber, and that should be running into here. Yep. And producing ourselves some good old stuff. So we'll just toss in some upgrades into this guy. That should be tossing it in there, and we shouldn't have any issues. So now we just need to take it out, and I wonder if we put a, where is it? A large storage chest right there, and then we say output. Is that going to, yeah, it'll auto output it into our crate over here, and then we can just clean this up a little bit and toss that in there. So we are going to be making amber bearing stone here. And the reason we're going to be doing that, let me just toss all this good stuff back in here, is for kind of a cheatsy way of getting observations. So if we take this stuff out, and let's say we just grab ourselves a wand, there we go, grab one of our unbreakables there, and head up. Don't want that disappearing. Head over to our mining dimension. We don't have a lot of room here, but we'll make do with what we have. And then let's just wand this out as much as we possibly can. There we go. Where is our pick? And just excavate all of this up. Now we should be getting, let's see, if we just toss our amber, what I'm looking for is, if I can find it here, is this stuff right here. Preserved curiosities. We got some rare earth. We don't need that. And realistically, we could fully upgrade this too. We could have block placers and a user with a pickaxe in it to kind of just take all of this stuff out. But let's just toss this in our system real quick so we have a little bit more room. So we have our different aspects, and we also have our knowledge. So this is going to keep track of our different observations that we made. So if you see that we have 8, 10, 10, 27. Now, if I come back over here and take this preserve curiosity, unfortunately you can't do a stack at a time, but I can just hold down this and just kind of go through everything I have. All right, so that was one stack. So now if we come back in our book and we come back up here, we can see that we've made quite a few more observations. So that's kind of a cheaty way to get through the observations. The next step is going to be discovering alchemy. So we need brewing simple potions, true outcome, blah, blah, blah. Essentia holds the key to a much more sophisticated way of manipulating matter. I should try to learn more about alchemy, armed with that knowledge. So this was normally, I think what we need to do is just make an observation on alchemy and fundamentals. But since we've already done that, we can complete this. And now it wants us to make our crucible. So a cauldron in the right shape and size, effective. A big metal bowl will never be able to. Once again, apply some Salus Mundus to a cauldron. So let's grab you out. We should just be able to make you up real quick. We can toss that over here. Normally you'd need this over a heat source, but we have the niter that we've kind of sort of didn't swear completely cheat in. Let's grab us a Salus Mundus. We should just be able to right click on this and make our Thaumcraft. Hehe, nice. All right. So that is complete. So this page is essentially just basically talking about heating the crucible, the different ways with flame, with glowstone, with niter. And the water needs to boil before that you can actually do anything with it. And it's essentially just telling you how to make the niter. In order for this guy to work, we are going to need to grab a sink, and let's grab a fluid conduit. Here we go. We'll just place this guy down here for now. Say always active and insert. So the water will go in here, and we should always have this guy full now. And now it's bubbling, which means that if we wanted to, we could throw items in there. And if they have, like if you hover over an item and you hold shift, it'll show you which essentia and how much of each it has in there. So if we were to throw this unbreakable wand in there, we would get 15 of whatever that first one is and everything else that's in there. But we have the Viz crystal, so we can actually pick and choose what we want to throw in order to get that perfect recipe. So Oromancy, crafting objects of power with Viz has opened a whole new world for me. I should study the world around me and travel to its edges. I will learn what I need. Sometimes I feel like I'm being able to blah, 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 blah. I think we need to travel to the lowest and highest. I'm trying to remember where, there it is. My path to the top was, so I should just be able to fly straight up. I'm not sure if the mining dimension is going to count for low, but we'll check it out. All right, so just by flying up to the mining dimension, we managed to get the highest, obviously, in the overworld, and since we start at bedrock level in the mining dimension, we've gotten the lowest as well. So let's go back home. All right, so now it wants us to craft a Viz resonator and a caster's gauntlet. Iron plate, nether quartz, we have our Viz resonator. Now we need to make our caster's gauntlet, so we're going to need 3 iron ingots, some leather, and another thermometer. There we go. So we'll just toss in our leather, our iron, thermometer, and a Viz resonator, and we should get our caster's gauntlet. Now when we come back into the book, we are complete on that stage. So some of this stuff, it is actually, although you can pull it out, it's going to make you kind of go through the process of making it. Our next step here is theory crafting. So for me to make any progress as a thaumaturge, I cannot rely on simply studying the world around me or stumbling upon ancient knowledge. I will need to make my own discoveries and expand my knowledge through experimentation. Crafting my own theories, I will need to create a comfortable workspace to do my research and ample supplies like writing materials on paper. So a scribing tool and a research table. So the research table, I believe, do we still have it? No, we don't. So a research table is, we need planks and some slabs. All right, easy day. Go like this and like that. And we have our wood table. And I think the wood table is the part that we are going to actually have to, put a scribing tool on. So we can take this off and we'll just use the one that we have. So we'll put our paper or scribing tool here, and then we just need to fill this up with some paper. There we go. And we're all good to craft some theories. All right. So again, it wants us to actually make the scribing tool. So we're going to need glass file, feather, and some ink. All right. So what I suppose works is if you actually grab the correct feather there. Was using mystical feathers. All right. So this is complete. And now it kind of gets into theory crafting and how we need to go about that to make theories. So we're going to need theories in order to get into infusion. So my experiments are successful. I've been able to infuse simple objects with essentia, blah, blah, blah. Need to find a way to make bigger, better, more awesomer things. So I've discovered a fabric that is soft, supple, and easy to enchant. I have designed patterns to set clothes. So this is going to be taking us into actually making the Thaumcraft armor and clothes that will help us with infusion. So first thing, we're going to need some string and some wool. So we got our string and our wool, and we now have our enchanted fabric. There we go. We have our robes, our boots, and our leggings. And this stuff gives us Viz discounts as we're wearing it. So if we're in a world and we're, kind of short on Viz, we can use this, and it gives us a discount during the whole crafting process. We can just click this one off. This is just celestial observation. We've already made those observations. So now we seem to be a little bit stuck on here. So I believe that means it wants us to actually make some more theories. So we need to missing research. We need to discovering artifice. Let's see. I'm not sure where that's going to be, but it kind of looks like it wants us to start going through some of these aromancy, alchemy, and infusion, basic arcane infusion here before we can progress much further, which is going to take quite a bit of time, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to kind of have to run through a bunch of this stuff. And I'm not sure if I want to do that in another episode or if I want to do it off camera, because it is just going to be, you know, kind of stepping my way through. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to make Thaumcraft into a 2-part episode. So I'm going to next episode continue on with Thaumcraft, and some of you may or may not like that, but I figure, like I said, I've never really done a lot of Thaumcraft. So instead of just kind of rushing through it and cheaty doodling our way through as fast as we possibly can, I think I'm actually going to try to learn this mod. So I'm hoping we can keep it to 2 parts, but that's going to see, because there is going to be a lot of, you know, going back and forth, crafting stuff, researching stuff, doing theories and all of that. And that, you know, each one, although it's not difficult, it is a little bit time consuming. So I think we're going to call it an episode there, guys. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Helps me out a great deal. And as always, stay safe, be awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.